Miss Universe podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Miss Universe podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Miss Universe podcast.
Oh, hello and welcome to Emma's Universe podcast. Oh my goodness gracious, I'm listening to something on TikTok and a guy decided to crash a wedding party. And he's trying to come clean to the girl who was part of the bridal party. And he lied to her and said he was the, what did he say? He was the cousin of the groom. He wasn't. It's hilarious. So I don't know the plot. It's in the middle of it. As I'm recording things, I'm just listening to this as I'm, what do you call it? Saving all of my podcasts. So, okay, done with this little goofy new. Maybe on Friday one, I will maybe have the plot of it and how it works. But okay. So, in today's podcast, we're going to be talking about the power of small wins, how teeny habits lead to big transformation. Because we talked about on Monday about discipline, but also what makes it successful and do big transformation. Again, it's to work at the one step at a time. People get overwhelmed, and I've seen it too many times when people get overwhelmed because they have huge expectation. They're ready to take on the world, and then they do one step, fell off, and just like, I gave up, I quit. No, thank you. And in order to be able to manage and really make it digestible, it's better to do small steps, small wins. So you start to, like I said, the domino effects. The first domino that falls will impact the others. It's not the entire dominoes that falls in one. It's one at a time. And if you take that perspective and apply this in your life, which is personal or professional, then those small wins will lead to big transformation, big wins. We often believe success requires massive actions, but in reality, it's the accumulation of small, consistent actions that leads to real change. And that's what we're going to be talking and dives into the science of small wins and how micro habits can reshape our lives. Why small wins matter. The psychology of momentum. Every small achievement builds confidence and motivation. The compound effects. Darren Hardy. Small improvement leads to exponential growth over time. Identity shift. Consistently achieving small wins reshape your self-image. And it's so freaking true. Then you're doing it professionally, personally, it does. If you're looking at what companies at the beginning were, the startup to where they evolves, there is a full transformation happening. Even though the goals are set, things are shifting and growing as you're expanding and mature with your business. It is the same with your personal goals. It is the same in your personal life. If you're looking at example of small wins leading to big results, James Clear's Atomic Habit story. British cycling team used 1% improvement in everything, sleep, nutrition, and training, and became Olympic champion. Isn't that crazy? Just 1% improvement in everything. If you do the same thing in your life, let's say you want to lose weight, Okay, or you want to do being more fit, you want to have a better body, then you can start to make the 1% improvement. Maybe you need to reduce the amount of food in your plate a little bit. You don't have to shrink yourself in like 5 minutes, but you decrease things. It's the same with the smokers. When you're a smoker, you can do the same. You may be smoking 5 cigarettes, 10 cigarettes a day. Then you start to reduce by one and shrink down by one for a week, for 2 weeks. Instead, then 10, you reduce to 9. In week 2, you're going to decide, okay, I'm good with 9, I'm going to reduce to 8. And you continue to do this. And over time, you're going to stop smoking. Some people go cold turkey, like everything else, okay? But this is just a simple example to give you the idea how you can do it with those small steps. Some people will quit cold turkey and they're going to be successful. This is how they're doing it. But some won't be able because it's going to be too overwhelming. Now, this is the atomic habits. Now, the financial growth through micro habits. Maybe you could save $5 a day. May seem small, but compound it into thousands over time. So same thing too. Maybe you used to drink your coffee at the Starbucks around the block. Why not making your own coffee at home? Maybe you can get some different ways to prepare your coffee, and you just live with it. Then you save your $5 right there. Or you have a little jar and put $5 in there. See, little thing, or a buck or a quarter. You do this every day. Financial growth. It doesn't need to be huge. Again, small. That's what you do. How to build small wins into daily life. So start with teeny manageable goals. Instead of run 5 miles, start with put on my running shoes. Okay? You're not going to run the 5 miles, but you put on your running shoes, you go outside, and you're going to start to walk. And it's going to be a small walk. Maybe it's going to be a brisk walk. And from a brisk walk, it's going to be slowly run. And you may be going to set your goal to, I'm going to do a half mile. That's how you build it up. People who run marathons and they are training year round, they did not start it by running a full marathons. Okay, they run their 26 miles. They did not do it in one shot. They started smaller. That's how you build up. You build after you build on the top of building and building. It's like a step up, step up, step up. You increase slowly but surely. That's how you're going to be and staying consistent, because if you start to run and just said I'm going to do a marathon right now, some people do. I think that's what's her name? That's hilarious. I like her very much. What's her name? She was on Baywatch. I forgot her name. I can see her face. Oopsie doo. It will come back later on. She never know how to run a marathon. She decided one day to do the marathon, and she did. But it was probably painful for her because she didn't have any trainings, okay? Train. Do things that, again, manage things. Do small steps. Track and celebrate small wins, because this is so important. Visualize your progress. Like, again, track it, journaling it. Reinforce your behavior. People don't understand that. The visual makes a huge difference. That's why it's like if you can set up and create a little cheat sheet on your refrigerator and just every day write up what you have done, you can see it. This help. It's one of the other tools that the visual always help. When I was doing reports, and I noticed that many decades ago. And some of them, when you were sitting for your quarterly, your monthly meetings, everybody were at the auditorium and waiting, blah, blah, blah. I noticed how boring those charts were. Seriously, there were no popping color. It was just like, holy crapola, not appealing to the eyes. And if it's not appealing to the eyes, it's going to be boring. People are not going to remember. So what I did, instead of using those, monochrome colors, I went with the flashy one. Oh yeah, that popped. People pay attention, remember the numbers. It was embedded in their visual because we are visual. So I'm not saying you have to create something, woohoo, but why not? You have to create something that is visual, that is exciting when you see it. It's not like, oh, I'm going to pass around, I'm not noticing it. I'm noticing it. So when you put colors, when you put, you have pens with different colors, you can do that very briefly. It doesn't need to be a piece of art, but that will really impact you. When people do vision boards, generally the vision boards have pictures, they have different colors that help them to reach out their goals. What is your vision board? Same thing here, but at a small scale. It doesn't need to be a big production. If you want to be a big production, and you can do the big production, that is not a big deal. But you have to look at it in a way that is super useful for you. So do this to celebrate those wins and be visible so you can see the progress. Leverage habit stacking. Attach a new habits to an existing routine. So after brushing my teeth, I will do 10 push-ups. That's an example. So you can add it, pair it with something. Maybe like my dogs, and I do once in a while when Daddy decide we need to run. She had done it with me, and I'm like, really? Okay, sister. Because she's always on the most of the time. I would say 99% on the lead with me, because otherwise she goes in her merry way, and I'm like, no. She did a Nudini a few times, and I'm like, honey, you don't do a Nudini, and find the doo-doo from the doors and roll, and they are like other dogs do. It's like that's not happening to remove your scent, so you're gonna go hunting when you're not gonna go hunting for the does. But yes, she's done that a few times. So what I do with her, or she has done with me, instead of walking, then we do a little jog. Okay, we're not gonna go full speed, because full speed will be playing tennis with her, which makes her go full speed just because she loves that and that's good for her. But at least we're running. So I'm attaching the dogs or time together with running, which is nice. See what I mean? So you can do the same with yours. Attach something new with a habit, which will make it easier actually to incorporate this in your life. And the 2-day rules: never skip a habit more than 1 day in a row. Oh my goodness, I'm 100% with this one, because I have done that a few times. When I took the example about the yoga on the previous podcast, on Monday podcast. Yeah, when you start to do new things and you're all excited, the first time, the second time, yeah, it's super. But there comes a week or two down the road where, I don't want to do it. I don't feel like it. And you're arguing with your own selves. I don't want to do it. I don't like it. And you're like, yes, you got to do it. No, I don't. And it's like, I'm going to pass today. I don't feel good. And okay. And the next day, because you have not done that exercise the day before you should have done it, then it's like, maybe tomorrow. And after that, you stop. So it's forcing yourself, and put it as a rule. Maybe every Sunday, I'm taking a day off from exercise. And I will work out 6 days out of 7. I give myself a day off. These build that habits, and you're not going to skip it, but that will help you. I can guarantee that, because how many people have done things and quit and find the excuse, I'm tired, I'm this, I don't feel like it, I'm not in the mood. I don't care if you're in the mood or not, you're going to do it. And when you start to do it, it's like, I feel better now. Yeah, the dopamine is like kicking in. It's like, yes, I'm enjoying it. I had a good time for 15 minutes. What's wrong with me? I didn't want to do it. Yes, this is who we are. When we start something new, we might have the tendency to do not want to do it. So we have to find a way, when we want to change what we're doing in our lives, regarding it's professional or personal, to find a way to incorporate this the easiest and the smoother way we can. Change are not easy. If you're looking at changes at work, how many times when things are changing because they're reshuffling people around, responsibility are changing, or somebody comes new and they decide they got the brightest idea around the block because we're going to scrub what the person did before, we're going to make it my own way. How often have you seen people changing and you're like, I got to do this now? I don't want to do that. No, because I don't like it. It changed my world. It's shaking and I don't like it. Okay, resistance. Well, how do you pass that resistance? It's by creating those small wins. It's by changing, not doing a 360. Some people can do a 360. I can do a 360. But not everybody likes a 360. So it's better to go small steps. You incorporate them and you get in a habit to introduce new things, which can make it exciting. If you got a project, let's say you're going to work on a remodeling project at home. You decided you're going to repaint everything, you're going to redo everything, and you're all pumped up and you're ready to go, and it's like, ugh, where I'm going to start is too overwhelmed. Okay, well, if it's too overwhelming at this point, what you do, you start with one room. You don't start with the entire house. You're gonna build your projects. That's gonna make it more exciting, actually. When I redid my place before I went down to a burning crisp, when I redid mine, I redid the entire ceiling. I moved the popcorn. I hated the popcorn ceiling. The popcorn ceiling was the worst thing ever, and I moved it to a flat ceiling. And after the flat ceiling, I decided to do a fall because I couldn't help myself but just do a fall. And it was with a sponge. And I wasn't the biggest sponge at all. I had a nice one and I had a baby one. And when I say a baby one, it's like not even 2-3 maximum inches. I think it was 2 inches, the poor thing was. But I love that baby one because there was more depth to it. I had to redo the entire ceilings. And I'm not talking one, the entire thing. And I was using different colors and style when I did all of my photos. And I was in the last bathroom I was doing. That was the last one. In the middle of it, I'm like, I'm done. I'm quitting. I am done with that crapola. I've been at it for like 2 weeks, and I have enough with that. And I was standing on my little chair, looking at the ceiling, and half of it was done. So I had just half to finish. And I had to have a conversation with myself, disciplined as I am, to find that little push that I needed to finish it. I'm glad I did, because otherwise half of the ceiling would have been done and the rest would be like, I'm not doing it. But it was worth it, because at the end of the day, when I looked at it and I was passing on it, people were coming in and I was like, wow, that's unique. I said, yes, it is. It's Emma right here, right now. I love those ceilings. I love the style. I love it was totally me. It was awesome. But it was very interesting because he was just like, oh, okay. When you're determined, you want to start, you're like, okay, I'm going to start with doing this and I'm going to do one step at a time, one room at a time. Same with the projects. A lot of people, and that's what I like, I'm going to go to the professional side of it, the agile style. I like the backlog because you take and you do the iteration on some of them, and those are milestones. See it as milestone. In a waterfall world, they tell you what to do and how, blah blah blah, and you follow the map and you don't normally deviate from what you've been told to do, which is never great when you do things. The agile world is different. You have that project breaking down to different milestones, so it helps actually to have different teams working in different milestones at the same time. That doesn't interfere with one another but complement each other, quote unquote. And you can adapt and you go faster. Actually, you don't wait for one person to be done, because in the waterfall world you wait for the one to be done and you go to the next one, so you spend a lot of time to do things that at the end your competitors will beat you to it. But when you do the agile, you can do those small milestones and you break down everything and you do it in a more digestible way, which is done quicker, which if something stops one of the milestones, it doesn't affect the other one normally. And I said the word normally because I would say 99% it should not. But in some cases it does because it could stop the entire process. Or you have to stop your milestone and said, okay, that sprint, we call it a sprint, it's not gonna go. We're gonna scrap it because it doesn't work or something is not working, and find another solution. And that's the flexibility when you work on sprint, quote unquote, on milestone, if that makes it easier for people to understand. Same way, you apply the same thing at home. If you have something to do, then do it one step at a time. If you want to remodel an entire room, maybe you're going to start to paint it. So you're going to empty your room. You're going to maybe you're going to change the flooring. So you don't cover the floor, but you're going to repaint the room first. Then you're going to remove then the carpeting or whatever you got. And then you're going to put the flooring and you're going to put back and refeng shui your room. Isn't it fantastic? I love it. But you go one step at a time. You don't do everything at the same time. If you want to repaint your entire house, you start with one room, not the entire house at once. So when you do this in an incremental, it helps you and it keeps you, like when I talked about on Monday, keep you disciplined as well. It's easier to do things than feeling overwhelmed, because how many times I have seen people being overwhelmed by everything because things were changing and moving and it was too much for their brain to wrap their heads around, and they got stressed out because they were thinking how I'm going to get things done. So you have to rethink about all of this, and one baby steps makes a bigger impact. Visualize that domino. When you see those beautiful dominoes, they spend hours to put it together with gorgeous design. Again, they push one. And then, like I said, it's the domino effect. We call it the domino effects, actually. So you have to think about all of this and just taking your sweet time and progressing at your own speed. It's not a race, it's a marathon. And people should know that. So don't feel you have to be in competition because your neighbor or your sister or your brother redid something and you want to do the same and outsmart them, blah, blah, blah. It's like, go at your own pace, or my pace is different than everybody else's. So you be mindful to your own self. Don't overwhelm yourself because you see others doing things and you feel you're behind it. No, you're not behind, but you're stressing your life out for nothing. So make sure that when you are doing projects or whatever you want to do in your life, ensure that you can really be successful if you're taking small step at a time, small wins. And again, seeing what you have accomplished, see the overall picture, but see where you are as well and feel good about it. Because some other things too, again, when you remove the element of competition, competition is good when you're competing against your own self. If you go against people, it always brings animosity. It can bring not so great, I would say, feelings. And sometimes it's better to focus on your own self, because you can identify one small habit to implement successfully than having everything collapsing because you feel you're in competition with someone. Stop tracking and celebrate small wins. I think that's one of the biggest things. And focus on what you have done, because those are your accomplishments. And be proud of yourself for that. And keep going. One small step at a time. I've seen people, and I really encourage, and I even leave nice comments for people. I've seen a couple of people, one lady who has lost over 100+ pounds, and she's still working on it, but she was extremely overweight, but she works every day. She walked out every day and she recorded her progress every day. So she made small progress compared where she was at the beginning, and really journal using TikTok that. And to me is awesome. And I saw a young kid as well who was weighing himself every week. I don't know if it was every day or every week. I don't recall. But really embracing the 2 pounds, the 4 pounds he has lost, and he was doing his goal, then he lost 70 pounds, blah, blah, blah. Same thing. It's like they're celebrating their small wins, which is fabulous because this is how you bring the big wins at the end of the day. So look at the project, look at what you want to do, and break it down so that will help you to manage it better. All my love, guys, and we'll talk to you later. Bye now.
Where do we go from here?
Amy's Universe Podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Amy's Universe Podcast.